Hey, it's Hunt. You found Hunt on Saints. We're talking black and gold football. Do us a favor. Hit the like button, share your comments below, and hit that subscription button so you can get all of our content. Enjoy. We're going to talk some Saints right now, and I want to talk about something that I detailed last year numerous times, and I still feel the exact same way today, even though a lot of things have changed on the New Orleans Saints offense. We have a lot of question marks surrounding the running game right now. Alvin Kamara is not healthy. Okay. Well, we feel like he's going to be healthy. He's pretty durable. Sounds like he's had a pretty good camp early on. And you know what kind of player he is and where he fits into Clint Kubiak's offense because you saw Christian McCaffrey do it seamlessly last year and really was as productive a player as there was in the National Football League. So that's a positive, but there's a question mark attached to it. Kendre Miller is just never out there. And at this point, like me trying to give any sort of take on Kendre Miller's effectiveness in 2024 is a fool's errand because he never plays, and he's been hurt since the first day of practice. So at this point, not only is he a question, like he's doubtful to be really helpful. The Jamaal Williams signing doesn't appear to have worked out very well. It did not work out last year. We'll see what he can bring this year. But you get my point as I start to go down the running backs list. Like, there are issues everywhere. And then you pair that with the offensive line that's been a little iffy. We think the offensive line should be better in the running game than it is in the passing game. We think Trevor Penning is more suited to help in the run than the pass. By now, you know my feelings on Trevor Penning. I'm ready to give up on the entire experiment, but the Saints are not, and we feel like Trevor Penning is better in the run game than the pass game. We feel like Taliesin Fuanga is a really good run blocker. You know that McCoy is a good run blocker, and we'll see what happens at left guard. But it feels like they should run the ball. But with who? Is Kamara hurt? Yeah. Kendre Miller hurt? Yeah. Is Jamaal Williams any good? I don't know. How about Taysom Hill? How about that? How about run with him? Now, we've seen a little bit of that in the preseason. You saw it in the game on Sunday night. You've seen a touchdown run. And last year, in the middle of the season, I was just screaming, like, get Taysom the ball. Your traditional run game bites. You're not getting anybody knocked off the ball. So the only way for you to win it is to do it with numbers. And when Taysom goes back there and takes direct snaps, at least they have to respect the fact that he could throw the football. And now you might give your offensive line one less guy to block because you don't have a quarterback turning around and handing the football off. So let him work. And they didn't do enough of that last year. I mean, I'll just start running through some of the games. Like, the Saints offense wasn't exactly setting the world on fire in week 1. They gave him the ball 3 times. Week 2 in Carolina, they scored 20 points. He got 9 carries, but he turned those into 75 yards. Then you went away from him in Green Bay. He only had 4 carries. Got crushed by Tampa. He had 4 carries. Don't care about the New England game. That was a joke. He only got 3 carries in that game. But then you go to Houston and you lose. You lost by 7 points. Taysom Hill had 1 rushing attempt. You targeted him 8 times in the passing game and he made 7 catches. I'm talking about the running game. Then you played probably the best game they played all year in Indianapolis. Probably no coincidence that Taysom Hill got 9 carries in that game. Averaged 7 yards a pop. Beat the Bears. I don't really care if they had Tyson Badgett playing quarterback, but I'm talking about you playing on offense against them. You gave Taysom Hill 11 carries. He cashed him in for 52 yards. And you won the game. And then you went to Minnesota and he got 1 carry. And you lost. Then you went to Atlanta and he was ineffective. 7 carries for only 26 yards. But when the offense came alive against Detroit late in that game, it got out of hand. But late in the game, the offense did come alive. Taysom was very much involved. He had 13 carries that day. You get the point. Like, you have this player that no one else in the league has. And if everything was humming great and you had Drew Brees chucking it to Colston with Ingram running the football and Jimmy Graham catching touchdowns and Lance Moore out there. And, like, if you were number 2 in the NFL in total offense, well, you don't need to do anything that's a little out of the ordinary. You don't need to force anything. You've got an offense that doesn't pass block very well, that has question marks at wide receiver, that has running backs who are very much iffy, and you've got this guy who can kind of remedy some of that. Give him the ball. Give him the ball. Let him throw it a couple of times. Keep teams off balance. Make them spend extra practice time, extra film time, worrying what the hell Taysom's going to do on Sunday. Taysom's getting older. There's no doubt about it. He was old when he got in the league, as most BYU players are. But he still has some burst. He still has some juice. He still sucks to try to tackle. I can't speak from experience on that, but I got a pretty good hunch that a guy that big, that physical, running that hard is not a lot of fun to keep hitting. So if Kamara's down and Kendre Miller can't practice and Jamaal Williams isn't any good and you're not sure what you got in the free agent class that you've signed, this guy, go with him. It seems so obvious. It seems so easy. And I'm not even here sitting in here telling you that I think Clint Kubiak's going to go away from that. I know Pete Carmichael did. I think Clint Kubiak understands the value in Taysom Hill, understands the wrinkle that he is, understands the nuisance that he is for defensive coordinators, defensive play callers. And I think they are going to use him a little bit more. And I think that's really good for New Orleans. We've seen, like, I don't recall, and they certainly did it, but I don't recall a ton of just like straight traditional handoffs and draw plays to Taysom Hill. A lot of it was direct snaps. A lot of it was him playing quarterback, tight end stuff. But like we saw like a draw play on Sunday. Good. Do funky stuff with him because it's hard to deal with. And I think the Saints are going to be looking for some answers on offense, and potentially he could be one. You don't have to force it necessarily, but make sure it is a significant part of the game plan. And if they take it away, we'll pivot to something else. But I can't have these situations where it feels like you turn some corners on offense like you did against Indianapolis, Chicago last year. He got 20 carries for 110 yards in those 2 games. And then you turn around and go to Minnesota, and you give him the ball one time. No wonder your third down percentages were terrible. No wonder your red zone percentages were terrible. You had one guy who was a matchup problem, and you went away from him. I don't think Clint Kubiak's going to do that. Yes, he's got to get the ball to Kamara when he's healthy. Yes, Chris Olave needs his touches. Yes, Rashid Shaheed's a game breaker on the outside. When Juwan Johnson gets healthy, absolutely, get him involved. But don't sleep on Taysom, because you've got something in him that is different than what the rest of the league prepares for every single week. And everyone who's been out at Saints camp in Irvine, those we've talked to on the show, have suggested he's been involved a good bit in what the Saints are looking to do offensively. We're not going to see that often in the preseason, as we've detailed time and time again over the last 2 weeks. But I'll reiterate one more time. Get Taysom involved. Generally, good things happen when the New Orleans Saints feature one of their best players. If you're looking for Saints content, Hunt on Saints on YouTube. Also, LouisianaSports.net. Ross Jackson doing an awesome job covering the Saints. Got some content that's coming up this afternoon, and then Ross will be at practice this evening out at Yulman Stadium in New Orleans, and he'll certainly have a report up on LouisianaSports.net when all of that comes to a conclusion. Hey, it's Hunt. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button. Leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.